Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Red Devils TV. Now, yes, I am wearing the new United shirt, and my amazing girlfriend did buy me an early gift for my birthday. That's in a few months. But I did shout at her. Obviously, Glazers out. Obviously, we shouldn't be funding the Glazers, but she did get it off JD Sports, so we are not indirectly funding the Glazers. But yes, obviously, I love the new home shirt. It's absolutely brilliant. It's definitely a bit of me. But yes, let's get right into the video. So, as you can tell by the thumbnail, we are broke and we are having to sell to buy. There's been a lot of breaking news that has happened over today, and it's absolutely crazy. David De Gea looks like he could be staying at Manchester United. Onana is now out of a deal. Remus Hojlund is supposed to be outpriced. Fred is now up for sale. Donny van der Beek's on the verge of joining AC Milan. And David De Gea could also stay at the club, as I've already said. So we're going to get on straight to David De Gea, because this is quite a big one, in my opinion, because David De Gea throughout this entire season has been heavily criticised. And personally for me, oh, hang on a minute, let's see what Finley's saying. Finley says who you've got in the back. I'm going to let you guess that. So I'll let you guess it. So put it in the comments who you think I've got on the back of the shirt. So with David De Gea, it's all come out today that Manchester United are going to review the options with David De Gea once he gets back from his honeymoon, or once he gets back once he gets back to England, is what's being reported. So David De Gea could also actually stay at Manchester United, which is actually quite interesting news, in my opinion, because this morning when we woke up, it's the 1st of July. The transfer window is now officially opened, and David De Gea is now a free transfer in the footballing world. So Manchester United can still offer him a new contract, but at the end of the day, Manchester United are also in the minority of every other team that also wants to sign David De Gea. If any other team like Atletico Madrid or a French team or a German team, anyone comes in for David De Gea, Manchester United have got to compete as much as they do, because I'm not being funny, David De Gea will be a wanted man, and no doubt he will be having talks with other teams because he is a very good goalkeeper still. So definitely, I personally feel like with David De Gea, it's an interesting one that whether he wants to stay at Manchester United or not, because realistically, if David De Gea decided to leave Manchester United, I would not blame him. We've treated him absolutely disgracefully in this recent transfer window. And what's happening now is we've been ruled out of the option for Onana. Apparently, we've got too much money to spend. Plus, we've also going in for Feyenoord's goalkeeper, in Justin Bajlo. Anyway, let's see what Finley's saying. Finley says that Rashford, Bruno, who is it? I will show you, mate. It is the one and only. It's Casemiro. So, yes, Casemiro, because United are back in the Champions League. We've got the Champions League badge. So, yes, Casemiro is the player that we have gone for. And you know what? It's an absolute brilliant choice by my girlfriend. Let's try and sort out this lighting a little bit. But anyway, with the whole saga and everything, I personally feel like that David De Gea has been treated absolutely disgracefully, in my opinion. I think he's been just massively disrespected. And at the end of the day, what else can we actually do about it? And I personally feel like with David De Gea, he's been treated disgracefully, like I've just said. And what is going to happen next? But all we can say is that we are broke. And Remus Hojlund, United's now main striker, is now apparently being ruled out to being too expensive. Andre Onana is also being ruled out to be too expensive. So this is what's going to make Manchester United have to sell to buy, which is going to be very frustrating, in my opinion. Because with everything that's going on with Manchester United, it is a complete mess. It is a complete calamity. And I personally feel like that with everything that's going on with Manchester United, the game plan is ruined. The game plan is completely broken, and we have no plan of what's actually happening anymore. And it just seems that the Glazers, the United, we just haven't planned this whole transfer window properly, is the best way to describe it. So obviously we've recently signed Mason Mount, and obviously that's a brilliant signing in my opinion. But at the end of the day as well, we've got to look at it. United have now spent half of their budget that's available. We've spent £60 million on Mason Mount, and we have 120 million to spend this summer. We've now spunked 50% of our transfer budget, which is absolutely horrible. almost. It's absolutely embarrassing, the fact that we've actually wasted that much money on Mason Mount. Now, I'm not saying that Mason Mount's a bad signing. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is that I don't believe that Erik ten Hag's number one priority signing was a Christian Eriksen replacement or a Fred replacement. It can't be. It's definitely a striker or it's definitely a goalkeeper. And this is where I now think that this is where it's going to get trickier. And United could get a taste of their own medicine at this point, because it's kind of like with David De Gea. David De Gea has literally been like that person where I'm trying to think of a good analogy to make here, but it's literally like what happened with. Let's see. Sorry, what's this? Moyes says that, "Hi Dan, I asked how your day went. Oh, I'm so sorry, mate. Where did you put that comment?" Oh, I thought, "Hi Dan, I hope you had a great day." Honestly, mate, I've had a horrible day. I've had work, and in the area that I live in, we've had a festival, and where I work, it's been very busy, let's say. So, yeah, I've had a very, very busy and stressful day. But, you know, obviously talking to you guys about Manchester United always brightens up my day. But with Moyes, obviously, I didn't mean to miss out your comment. Thank you for commenting as always. But honestly, with Manchester United as well, I am very deeply disappointed in what's happened with, because like I said, United are going to get a taste of their own medicine. It's meant to be, because David De Gea had the option. We had the opportunity to stay with David De Gea, and now what it seems to be like is that United now signed Mason Mount. Great, we've made a signing. That's brilliant. But now what's also supposed to be happening is that David De Gea is now set to not be a player that like I'm trying to think of how to express it. That David De Gea is now free. That's literally what he is. He's free from the Glazers' shackles, and he is now a free agent. So what it is that it's kind of, it is a perfect analogy. It's kind of like the analogy I used last night, but it's kind of a bit of a twist. So what it is that, let's say you're at school, your school prom is coming up. That's kind of how we can set the scene. It's your school prom, and the ugly girl asks you out, and you're like, okay, you know what? No, I don't want you. You've been my best friend for the last 4 or 5 years throughout the entirety of high school, but no, I don't want to go out with you. I'm going to keep my options open and see what's out there. That's kind of what United have done. But now United have wasted their money on Mason Mount. And I'm not saying Mason Mount's a bad signing, but I'm just saying that United haven't prioritised their signings correctly, in my opinion. But now what seems to happen is that Manchester United have now gone on to try and get Andre Onana from Inter Milan, been ruled out too expensive. Now we want a striker as well. So now we're like, right, David De Gea, we can't buy the keeper we wanted to replace you. So how about you stay, and when we'll be able to get this other player that we want in a striker as well, because we desperately need a striker as much as a goalkeeper. But we think you're just a good enough goalkeeper to deal with for the time being. And then what's going to happen? We're going to eventually marry a new girl and bin you off eventually. So David De Gea is being treated disrespectfully, is my opinion on all this. And that's the best way I can describe it almost. But Moyes also goes, say, to be honest, Dan, my expectation of United is very low this season. And yeah, I might be getting to that point myself, mate. It says, I'm even disappointed in United the way that they treated David De Gea. He's obviously not going to be happy with them. Definitely not, mate. Definitely not. David De Gea has been treated absolutely disrespectfully, in my opinion, and it's actually very frustrating to see because, again, he's been a club legend for so long and he's been treated disrespectfully. But if you are new to the stream, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Obviously, we'll try and get about 10 likes throughout this stream as well, so let's try and keep the numbers up, everyone. But yes, let's go on to the next bit, and obviously, Remus Hojlund. Now, Remus Hojlund is United's main priority striker. Obviously, we were talking about the likes of Harry Kane this summer. We talked about the likes of Victor Osimhen. It's kind of sad and embarrassing now that we were actually linked to Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen, and now we only have 120 million to spend throughout the entire summer plus player sales. So this is kind of the frustrating thing, in my opinion, because we were linked to Harry Kane and Victor Osimhen, probably two of the best strikers in all of Europe, and now United are broke. United now can't afford a chicken nugget Happy Meal. That's literally what it is come down to now. So United now, it seems that Remus Hojlund is going to be Man United's main transfer target for the striking position. Onana, who's supposed to be our main choice for the #1 goalkeeper. It's all a complete mess. And this is where the recent reports that's come in literally in the last 20 minutes that United are now putting Fred up for sale and expecting to receive around 20 million to 30 million pounds for the Brazilian international. Now, with all this, I personally feel quite disappointed because I really like Fred. I would much rather see someone like McTominay go, because for me, I think Fred's just been a bit more consistent than what McTominay has been. But if Eric Ten Hag would rather keep McTominay over Fred, then I can understand why, due to the physicality that United are lacking in the midfield. Apart from McTominay and Casemiro, United don't have much muscle in the midfield, is the way I want to say it. And this is why I was obsessed with the Adrian Rabiot signing, because he's a very physical midfielder that likes to progress the ball forward. So that's why I was obsessed with as well with this Adrian Rabiot signing. But again, I'm not being spoiled. I do like to see what Mason Mount is capable of. But anyway, continuing on to the video, and obviously we've got Fred that is now up for sale. There are talks that Fulham are interested in Fred, which is going to be quite interesting because, again, Fulham have been interested in Fred in the past. They tried to sign him in January. I am looking forward to seeing what actually happens. But Moyes goes on to say that United are broke and they are giving Rashford that kind of contract. Exactly, mate. Rashford is being offered a £300,000 a week pound contract, and United are broke. It's crazy. And I understand we want to sign Marcus Rashford, we want to keep Marcus Rashford, but at the end of the day, we can't be offering these type of contracts if we don't have the money to spend it. And that's the frustrating thing about it all. And he says, have you seen Casemiro's new haircut? It's lit. It actually is, mate. He really suits it. And Casemiro does look very fire, as you've put the fire heart emoji. But as well, Donny van de Beek, apparently AC Milan are interested in him. Now, this is quite interesting considering AC Milan did do really well in the Serie A this season. Obviously, Napoli did go on to win it, but as well, AC Milan did do really well in the Champions League as well. So Donny van de Beek going to there, I do think that'd be a good league for him to go to. The Italian league has done wonders for certain Manchester United players in the past. You look at Chris Smalling, Nemanja Matic, these Mkhitaryan, all these other players, Manchester United have done really well with, I personally think. So Donny van de Beek could definitely revive his career, I think. And I think AC Milan would be a good move for him, definitely. And especially that the likes of Sandro Tonali is going. Now, I'm not saying that Donny van de Beek is the same level as Sandro Tonali, but, you know, you've got to build your way back up. They're going to miss Tonali massively. So definitely, for Donny van de Beek is going to be a key player if AC Milan do get over the line. Oh, excuse me. But with Donny van de Beek, I'm not expecting any more than 10 million from that. And the way we're selling players at the moment with Ethan Laird and Zidane Iqbal, we've sold 2 players currently so far. We've sold Zidane Iqbal and Ethan Laird, and not even made over 4 million. Not even made over £2 million. It's ridiculous why we are terrible with sales. Moyes also goes on to say that why can't the players contribute for United to sign the players to help us achieve our goals, because it's going to favour them. I'm not too sure, mate, but I'm guessing that's got to do with some sort of investment. It might have something to do with their contracts, the fact that Manchester United players can invest back into the club. I'm going to guess maybe something like that. That's why you see like Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, at Liverpool, he's currently got his own charity going for underprivileged Scouse lads and Scouse kids, for helping them with football and stuff. And obviously the club can't fund that. So maybe that's why. So obviously you've got Marcus Rashford's charity as well, where he helps out throughout Manchester and helps with the school meals and stuff, which is an amazing thing to deal with. But I just want to talk about as well is that where can United actually generate some money? Because we recently just signed Mason Mount, so we can now free up a midfielder. Donny van de Beek can go anyway, because obviously we didn't really use him. Excuse me, it's been a long day. But with what you call it, what's it called? What's it called? I can't remember. I've lost my train of thought. With Dean Henderson, that's it. What players can we generate money from this season? And for me, I personally feel like Dean Henderson is one of them players that United can generate a lot of money for. And that's a definite thing, in my opinion. I feel like that Dean Henderson did quite well for in Nottingham Forest before he got injured for the rest of the season. And I personally feel like he did really well. Moyes says that I'm sure if they ask Casemiro, he's going to agree to it. Maybe. I'm not too sure, but if that's the case, then, I guess. But this is where the sale needs to happen now, because Manchester United are desperately in need for investment, and that's where United are currently failing, in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, I personally feel like that the sale needs to happen now, and this is where I'm kind of getting to the point where the Glazers are sabotaging Manchester United, because if you look at this now, the Glazers can now say, look, we've signed a player, you can't complain. That's their Glazers logic. So now what I think is going to happen is that we might sign one more player if we're lucky, and then the Glazers will drag out it throughout the entire summer. We'll link to this player. Oh, the sale's almost done, guys. And then out of nowhere, bang, the transfer window's over. We've signed 2 players, and United have a terrible start to the season. The Glazers then eventually sell up, and then United are the season is pretty much called for, and the Qataris do eventually end up coming in. And then we try and save it in January, is the way I'm looking at it right now, because I just can't see where we're going to generate this much money to get the targets that we need, because United, I mean, look what Ralph Rangnick said, literally, 18 months ago. People laughed at Ralph Rangnick when he turned around and said that we need 10 new players to try and compete for the league. He was bang on. He was spot on with that comment. The fact that United have too much deadwood, we've let certain players go, and we can't generate enough money because of the massive wages that we're giving certain players, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So seeing how United actually generate this much money is ridiculous. I can't see a world where we get enough money to buy Andre Onana, Remus Hojlund. Obviously, we've just signed Mason Mount, another midfielder, and another striker. So we need another 5 players to this summer, definitely. And it's frustrating because United need to progress, and United have just finished 3rd, right? There's not a chance in hell United are going to finish 3rd next season with the likes of Man City being as dominant as they are. Liverpool are signing excellent players left, right, and centre in this new Hungarian midfielder in Szoboszlai, whatever he's called, Andre McAllister, and the link to even more midfielders. You've got, obviously, Arsenal on the verge of signing Declan Rice. Chelsea are going to have a good season. Newcastle are strong and threatening. It could be an off-season for Man United, and it's going to be very, very frustrating. Moyes also says that I saw the news about Sabitzer and Vegas going back to their representing clubs. Bro, I really wish we kept Sabitzer. Not me. I didn't want to keep Sabitzer. The fact that Sabitzer came to us in January and got injured 3 times whilst playing for us is a bad look, in my opinion. So definitely I didn't want to keep Sabitzer. I don't really think he actually did much either. I felt like that apart from the 2 goals he scored in that Seville game, that we ended up went on to draw because Harry Maguire, it just went off Harry Maguire's head. And then second of all, you've got the likes of how we just got absolutely battered in Spain by him. Sabitzer didn't stand out for me at all, and I liked to sign him when we first signed him. I was optimistic, and I was like, okay, we've got a good player here, because Christian Eriksen did get injured at the time. But yes, Sabitzer for me, I'm glad we kept him off our books, because we can't keep signing these injury-prone players. Maybe signing back on loan again for a full season loan. Maybe try something like that and see how he does for the full season. Maybe that's something that's on the books. And he said, I yawned when you yawn. Yeah, it's been a long day, mate. It's been a very long day. But yeah, it's the transfer window at the moment is terrible, and this is why I'm saying United are reportedly putting bids in left, right, and centre for Andre Onana, Remus Hojlund, but the bids aren't going in. And I'm looking at Laurie Whitwell and David Ornstein are saying about how United's transfer window and stuff, and United just aren't serious, and that's where the issue is. And it is very frustrating, in my opinion. It is very frustrating, but what can we do? As United fans, all we can do is show our frustration. So no doubt that the protest will be organised again soon. I'll message the 1958, as you know, that we were attending the protest earlier this week on the Tuesday. So yes, no doubt I'll message the 1958 and see if we can get another protest order organised, because no doubt fans will be enraged very, very soon. And, the United are promoting this new shirt left, right and centre. And it is ridiculous. But, United just need to get serious. We need to start selling players, because apart from maybe £50 million that we can generate off 3 or 4 players, I can't see where United are going to get a lot of money from unless we let someone go big, maybe an Anthony Elanga. I mean, Anthony Elanga's not even that big. You'd probably get about 15 million for Anthony Elanga. So this is the thing. It's like, do we let so many players go that are considered rotation and deadwood options to sign these players? Or do we kind of keep a weakened squad? And that's the thing. Like, do you risk selling 3 players throughout the squad that could come in handy at some point during the season for 1 player who is very decent? And you know what? If it's the correct players, yeah, I'd sell them. I'd definitely sell them. Fred, I don't really want to see go, but if he has to go to make money, so be it. Mason Mount's better than you, mate. That's literally it. And that's the cruel part of football, in my opinion. Moyes also goes to say, is it Moyes or Moses? I think it's Moses, actually. I'm sorry if I've been reading your name wrong, pal. But he says that I'm tired of being frustrated right now, and I'm kind of doubting the takeover is going to work. The takeover will definitely work, and it'll definitely happen at some point. The Glazers won't stay in power for more than a year, and I can promise you that. And that's honestly me not saying I know anything. That's not me having any secret reports. But the Glazers have to sell. Like, the Glazers have to sell, and that's the thing. Because it's getting to the point now, I believe in the next year or so, maybe less than 12 months, the Glazers then have to pay out what they currently have of the debt that they owe, and they're going to want the debt paid off. And that's where they have to accept the Qatari deal, in my opinion. So anyway, everyone, thank you for watching it, tuned in. Moses, honestly, thank you so much for contributing as always. So yes, thank you everyone that's watched this evening. I'm off to bed as I'm back in work tomorrow. But honestly, if anything goes viral, if anything goes mental or breaking news, we will make a quick video on it, or quick YouTube shorts. So yes, make sure you check out all these. And Moses also says that, why did you wear the new jersey? I thought you weren't supporting the Glazers. You shouldn't have wear it, mate. I explained that at the start of the video, mate, that my girlfriend did buy me this shirt. So, and plus we didn't buy it off the Glazers. She bought it off another website. So yes, we aren't funding the Glazers. It was a surprise, and I am going to wear the shirt, and I do really like the shirt, but we didn't fund the Glazers, so don't worry, that's not the case at all. But yes, thank you for everyone that's watched this evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video. Thank you for watching, and have a good evening, guys.